Our vision at Africa is Talking is to make it easier for developers to build what it is they're building. What we do is we figure out what are the different issues that a developer would face in terms of what it takes for them to build something. And see whether we can actually help solve some of those problems. If you think about a developer trying to build a product or build a program and does need to talk to his clients, it's important that they figure out, are they talking to them through SMS, through USSD, etc. And when you think about the process of actually achieving that, it's quite difficult because you have to go talk to the telcos, etc. And so at least one thing we've been able to do is actually build APIs that make that process a lot easier. And all a developer needs to do is just connect to Africa's Talking, and we do the work behind the scenes of connecting to the telcos. We're now starting to look at other things such as providing local cloud, providing payments, etc. But it still speaks to that vision of how do we help developers and make it easier for them to build products, and especially in Africa. I'll give an example. If, say, I needed to build a product that talks to farmers across multiple countries, today, and sort of maybe collects payments from them, etc. Today, if I was to build that product outside of AT or outside of other companies being in existence, I would have to think about what's the infrastructure required for that, how do we communicate, how do we connect to the telcos, how do we connect to the banks, etc. As opposed to figuring out what's the real problem I'm trying to solve and actually focusing on that. So it's really trying to remove a lot of the thought process or the mind share that it takes to actually do a lot of these infrastructural issues that are still required for you to be able to build the solution you're building. The continent is becoming more digitized a lot in a very fast manner, and that requires a lot of developers. And so again, we are starting to see companies, governments, NGOs, etc. sort of requiring digitization services, which then means we do need software developers. And so the communities are growing, both in terms of numbers, but also in terms of expertise. So we're starting to see more developed or more nuanced developers sort of springing up, interesting developer communities, etc. When I start to think about the synergies that we bring to the table, so it's not just the fact that we solve an infrastructural problem, but we're helping you across multiple markets. So a business can begin to think about not just being in Kenya with us, can think about, I can be in Nigeria, I can be in South Africa because AT exists in those markets. It's that ability to, one, solve this infrastructural problem, but at the same time do it at a cost-efficient level, because again, we don't charge, for example, we don't charge for the use of the platform. And so businesses can come, experiment, build stuff, etc., without necessarily feeling like they have to pay this upfront cost for what they're doing. We've been able to attract a really incredible talent pool. I love the people I work with. Extremely brilliant, but more so very committed to the vision and the whole idea of how do we help software developers on the continent. And sort of to see them wake up every day, come in, do whatever it takes, whether it's the products they build or how they support clients or how we get our message out to developers. It's been amazing to kind of watch that grow. The second thing is our brand, and especially our brand amongst developers. I think we've managed to build what I would say is a premier brand for software developers on the continent. And my hope is that we can continue to build that and actually continue to show the value to the developers. But I think it's a fantastic strength so far. Our focus is to actually be able to help software developers across the continent and eventually globally to be able to solve problems. We do see ourselves trying to figure out how do we reach every single country on the continent. We're currently registered in 18 markets, and at least happy to say that we do have a representation at least in every aspect, in every part of the continent. When I say that, I say at least east, central, east, south, west, and north. But they sort of see how do we then use that to cover the entire continent. So there's that, which is the expansion geographically, but there's also a question around expanding our product offering. We've been very focused on the communications layer, and that continues to be a huge part of our focus. But the question constantly is, what do developers need to communicate better? So we started off with a lot of the telco type products such as SMS, USSD, and those continue to be a fairly robust part of our offering. We're starting to move up the layer on thinking about things like WhatsApp, Messenger APIs, etc., IoT. So there's a question of, again, what do developers need to continue to build their products? So there's a bit of that expansion from a product perspective. I think the next steps for AT is to continue doing what it is that we've always done. The vision remains the same. It's about software developers. The core thing is, for as long as we remain true to our vision, the company will keep growing, and I'm quite excited to see where it goes.